All right. Testing. Is this thing on, ladies and gentlemen? Can you all see me? Most importantly, can you all hear me? Test, audio check, ladies and gentlemen. How's everything sounding? Everything good, y'all? No type of peaking? No type of, I gotta put up the volume on my phone just to hear this dude Neo? How's it sounding, y'all? How's it sounding? Let a brother know. Okay. I'm seeing the homies chiming in. What's going on, people? What's up? Happy Tuesday, y'all. It's a wild Tuesday indeed. So the audio matches the visual. Appreciate that, GM the Don. But what's going on, people? What's up? All right, so we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. We've already got over 100 viewers watching, and we haven't even started. So before we get into this, y'all, I want to say first things first. Thank you guys for joining the stream. I appreciate that. If y'all can do me a favor, make sure you hit that like button. It helps out the channel tremendously. We got a lot of people watching. I'm seeing a lot of the homies in here. Appreciate y'all pulling up. So unlike my previous streams, like Ask Neo, where it's just a free flow Q&A, I'm gonna keep this one very structured and to the point. So I'm not gonna be responding to the chat, super chats, things like that until later down the road, where we have periods of time where we can actually devote it to those things. So don't take it the wrong way if I don't respond to any of the comments going by or any of the super chats. I'm gonna make sure that I get to those when we tackle those. And last thing, down below in the video description is where y'all can find all my social media channels, from Twitter, Instagram, our Discord community, the Phantom Weirdos, which we're going to be doing a lot more with Discord this year. We're going to start doing some call-in shows. But speaking of shows, I want to give a shout out to everybody who pulled up to the Twitter Spaces this morning. It was my very first time holding a Twitter Spaces, you know, after people have run them shits into the ground. But it was a lot of fun, man. We had a lot of interesting discussions going on. Appreciate y'all pulling up if you were a speaker or a listener. And the Twitter Spaces kind of went viral. We had almost 1,000 people listening at a time. And I checked the playback and it was like over 4,500 people had listened. And we had a bunch of people chime in, man. So it was crazy. So yeah, shout out to everybody watching the stream right now. We're going to dive into today's topic, and what a topic it is, ladies and gentlemen. I just need to paint the picture for y'all, right? I need to paint the picture for how all this stuff went down. So, you know, it's an off day for your boy. No work. I'm just chilling, minding my business. So I like to sleep in on my off days. Normally, I'm up at like 7 a.m. in the morning, chilling, doing my thing, meditation, all that. But today I decided to sleep in, right? So I woke up around 8 o'clock, 8:15. And, you know, I check my phone because my phone is kind of going off. And I'm like, why is my phone bumping at 8:15 in the morning? What happened? So I check my phone and I start getting notifications from a lot of the gaming sites I follow, and they're talking about, Microsoft has acquired Activision Blizzard. And at first I'm thinking, these gaming insiders are at it again. Someone is saying some outlandish stuff because they're talking about Xbox has acquired Activision. Like, bro, what y'all talking about? This shit is crazy. So I go onto Twitter, and the first thing I see is a headline tweet from Xbox themselves saying, we are happy and proud to welcome the Activision Blizzard family into Xbox Game Studios. And I kind of had to like I had to do like a double, triple, quadruple take because you're telling me that Xbox has acquired Activision Blizzard, the publisher. Like this ain't no April Fool's joke. This ain't none of that stuff. I'm like, wait a second, wait. Activision Blizzard. Okay. So then I start reading the article and I'm just like, they just bought a whole publisher. So to give you all the rundown, Microsoft has purchased Activision Blizzard for a staggering $68.8 billion. 68.8. So we're going to round it up to $70 billion for the acquisition. To put into perspective, their last major acquisition back in 2020 was for Bethesda, another publisher, but they paid in the low ballpark, and it's crazy how $7 billion is now a low ballpark, but they paid $7 billion for Bethesda. They have since spent 10 times that acquiring Activision Blizzard. And that right then and there, I didn't want to believe it, man. I was like, no, there's no way this is possible. But then, sure enough, I went ahead and I read the article, and yeah, it was absolutely legit. So what we're going to do right here, guys, is we're actually going to go ahead while we get a couple more people joining into the chat. We're going to go ahead and read off everything that Xbox has to say about this this crazy acquisition. I like I said, I still cannot believe it. So running down the list right here, courtesy of the Xbox news site, welcoming the incredible teams and legendary franchises of Activision Blizzard to Microsoft gaming. And here's something that I noticed when I was reading it, but I don't know if this is legit. Did Phil Spencer get a promotion? Because last I checked, he was the head of Xbox Game Studios, but now it says that he's the CEO of Microsoft Gaming. Now, I don't know if they rebranded that or it is actually just a promotion, but he's now a CEO for Microsoft, not Xbox, but a CEO of Microsoft. So if it is actually like, yo, he did get a promotion, well, kudos to Phil, man. Kudos to Phil. Congratulations on that. But let's go ahead and run down, right? So the creators of Call of Duty, Warcraft, Candy Crush, Tony Hawk, Diablo, Overwatch, Spyro, Hearthstone, Guitar Hero. When was the last time they did anything with that? Crash Bandicoot, StarCraft, and more join Team Xbox. As a team, we are on a mission to extend the joy and community of gaming to everyone on the planet. We all know that gaming is the most vibrant and dynamic form of entertainment worldwide, and we've experienced the power of social connection and friendship that gaming makes possible. As we pursue the mission, it is incredibly exciting to announce that Microsoft has agreed to acquire Activision Blizzard. Over many decades, the studios and teams that make up Activision Blizzard have earned vast wellsprings of joy and respect from billions of people all over the world. We are incredibly excited to have the chance to work with the amazing, talented, dedicated people across Activision Publishing, Blizzard Entertainment, Beanox, Demonware, Digital Legends, High Moon Studios, Infinity Ward, King, Major League Gaming, which is a huge one right there, the fact that they acquired MLG, Radical Entertainment, Raven Software, Sledgehammer Games, Toys for Bob, Treyarch, and every team across Activision Blizzard who has done nothing but work on Call of Duty for the past 2 years. Shame. Until this transaction closes, Activision Blizzard and Microsoft Gaming will continue to operate independently. Once this deal is complete, I'm gonna shorten this to AB. Every single time I say AB, just know I'm talking about Activision Blizzard as a combined entity. Will report to me as CEO, Microsoft Gaming. Yo, this man, Phil Spencer, he said, when all this is said and done, you report to me. Oh man, that's some BDE. That's some big dick energy swinging from Phil Spencer. Shout out. Upon close, we will offer as many Activision Blizzard games as we can within the Xbox Game Pass and PC Game Pass ecosystem. Both new titles and games from AB's incredible catalog. Ooh. We also announced today that Game Pass now has more than 25 million subscribers. So that's another huge update they kind of snuck in there. We got more Game Pass numbers, which we'll talk more about later. As always, we look forward to continuing to add more value and great games to Game Pass. Blah, 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 cloud gaming, Xbox community, phones, tablets, laptops, soon to be smart fridges. You can enjoy it as a company. This is the thing, the blah, blah, blah. And but this right here is actually really important, which will be its own separate topic later down the road. As a company, Microsoft is committed to our own journey for inclusion in every aspect of gaming, among both employees and players. We deeply value individual studio cultures. We also believe that creative success and autonomy go hand in hand with treating every person with dignity and respect. We hold all teams and all our leaders to this commitment. We're looking forward to extending our culture of proactive inclusion to the great teams across AB. Man, oh man. I mean, what? Without saying it, they said it. And I want to give a shout out to the homie Carrick. You guys know Carrick. He said, looking at this Xbox gaming leadership team, it just gives off straight off Shadow of Mordor vibes with the Nemesis system. And you got Phil Spencer up at the top and then everybody else at the bottom. Like these are all the people we got to overcome in order to come at Phil Spencer. But yeah. That was the news article right there, basically saying, yes, we've acquired Activision Blizzard, and just looking at the list of the, like, you want to know what's kind of funny looking at this this photo right here, Activision plus Xbox plus Activision Blizzard and King, is that every single one of these properties right here looks so intimidating. I mean, Tracer doesn't look that intimidating, but just look at that, you know, like Tracer, you got Diablo, you got Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, StarCraft, and then there's Candy Crush. It's like, yes, these are all your next adversaries. And then there's just a bunch of candy, which to some people, I mean, candy might be a villain. Candy might be a villain. But yeah, you guys, this acquisition is huge, is putting it lightly. I remember back when Microsoft acquired Bethesda, you had a lot of people out there, I mean, myself including, questioning a lot of things, questioning if this acquisition is really that beneficial for Microsoft as a publisher. I mean, they talk about their commitment to gaming. We hear the same dribble from a lot of these corporate executives. Like, yeah, we're all in on gaming. We're gung-ho about gaming. It's this incredible medium. And then last year, something changed. I don't know if you guys remember this, but last year, circa E3 time, and I think we're going to have to come up with a new circa E3 time when they announce stuff in the summer, considering what's been happening with E3. That's another story for another day. But circa June 2021, where Xbox just made this announcement saying, you know, we're talking about cloud gaming and we're expanding cloud gaming and yada, yada, yada. And Phil Spencer brought on a special individual to talk about this expansion of the Xbox brand. And that person was Satya Nadella. And for those who aren't aware, Satya Nadella is the head honcho at Microsoft. He's running the ship. But they got Satya Nadella on stage, right? You know, decked out in the Halo Infinite hoodie. And he was on there basically saying, yeah, Microsoft as a corporate entity is all in on Xbox gaming. That was the head of Microsoft coming out here in public display saying that we are fully dedicated to gaming. Now, this might not seem that significant. You're probably asking yourselves, Neo, you just said that a lot of these corporate executives say things like this, which is true. But if you guys know your history about the Xbox brand and its relationship to Microsoft, this is huge. This is huge. The Xbox brand hasn't really been that profitable for Microsoft. And if you guys have watched that Xbox documentary, the trials and tribulations leading into the launch of the very first Xbox, the 360, while it was a monumental success, and for some people, their favorite console of that generation, the Red Ring of Death really held back that console from being profitable. And the Xbox One generation, I mean, self-explanatory. That brand did a complete 180 in all the worst ways. So for Phil Spencer in his short time being involved, well, he's always been involved with Microsoft, but being put in a position of power, a seat at the table of sorts. What he's done in just a few short years, from expanding their studios, I think they went from having, was it like 4 to 5 internal studios, to acquiring companies like Obsidian, like, Double Fine, of course, Ninja Theory, and then working their way up towards purchasing Bethesda. those kind of moves don't go unnoticed for the higher up executives. Like, this isn't something that Phil can just say, you know what? I just want to wake up and buy a whole publisher. This is stuff that's got to get approved on. And for people like Satya Nadella to be like, you know what, Phil, I give you your trust. There's a reason behind that. And that reason has to do with what Microsoft and Xbox's commitment is when it comes to gaming, right? So a lot of people look at gaming as just this very narrow, rigid view. It's console gaming and you have PC gaming, right? Xbox and Microsoft, they've said for the past couple of years that we are trying to go beyond just console gaming. We're trying to reach as many gamers as possible. And of course, us gamers, we're just like, all right, sure, whatever that means, man. Y'all say this every single generation. But for them, it's not just Xbox as a console brand. It's Xbox as a brand, period. Which is why they don't care that their games are on PC and on Steam. It's why they don't care that their games are now available streaming day and date. It's because they're trying to reach as many audiences as possible. So all the time that they've spent building the Azure servers, all the time that they've spent working behind the scenes to get streaming to be somewhat viable in multiple countries in the world where buying a console isn't that feasible. I'm sure we have a lot of people chiming in from countries where, it's much cheaper to subscribe to Xbox Game Pass versus buying a console day one. That's huge for these companies like Microsoft. Microsoft is all about the metrics. I mean, every company is about metrics, but more so than ever, everything is about active engagement, active amount of users, and seeing excitement in the brand. That's something that Xbox has been focusing on for the past 2 years. Building excitement with the brand, getting a lot of people on board. And it doesn't matter, like I said, whether it's Xbox consoles or Xbox PC. They're seeing that engagement. So they bought Bethesda, right, back in 2020. The deal went through in 2021. So already they have a good amount of engagement there. But what's the next big thing? Activision Blizzard. Look at how many people play games like Overwatch, Diablo, Call of Duty, all of these games, World of Warcraft, on a monthly basis. That's the stuff that they're looking for. But it goes a little deeper than that, because I know a lot of people are looking at this and they want me to get to the discussion about exclusivity and whether or not, these games are going to be on PlayStation. We'll touch more on that later, don't worry. But I want to focus on some of the things that I'm not seeing a lot of people really talk about when it comes to this acquisition. And that's mainly how this is filling in some of the gaps where Xbox has been lacking. Or I should say, they're working towards building up, right? So let's start with the small. Well, I can't even say it's a smaller entity considering how much money it brings in. King and Candy Crush. A lot of people, they look at things like Candy Crush and they're like, all right, Candy Crush, it's whatever, it's for casual gamers, yada yada yada. But when you see the amount of engagement and how much money things like Candy Crush bring in, it's asinine. It's why some of these companies are in a rush to get their games out on mobile, because that is the untapped market. Mobile is the untapped market. Regardless of whether or not we, the core gamers, think it matters in the grand scheme of things, it's huge. The barrier of entry on a smartphone is so much smaller by comparison to having to buy a $400, $500 console and games on top of that. So with this acquisition, I can totally see, like, first looking at it from an existing standpoint with Candy Crush, I can see Xbox trying to bring in Game Pass into the mix. Because, with a lot of these mobile games, they're very predatory in their nature. They're free, bunny ears quotation mark for people who are listening. They're free, but it's one of those things that it kind of incentivizes you to spend money to go ahead and continue your gaming experience, right? I mean, that's the price you pay for it being free. But imagine if you attached Xbox Game Pass onto that. Like, hey, you guys are already spending X amount of money per month on Candy Crush or whatever mobile game. Why don't you subscribe to Xbox Game Pass, where you could play Candy Crush for free for life? And right then and there, you've already got a hook into somebody. Like, that's not a bad idea. And with them focusing more on cloud streaming and cloud support and focusing on creating franchises that can exist harmoniously across all these ecosystems, acquiring an entity like King, which already has expertise in the mobile gaming space, for better or for worse, I know, that is something that's extremely lucrative for a company like Xbox, and seeing if maybe they can apply some of that logic to their own brand. Now, Xbox has in the past dabbled into a couple of, mobile ventures. There was that Gears game they did on mobile and everything. But I mean, the thing is, if you're not really in tune with a lot of the stuff that's happening in mobile, you're not going to succeed at a level where, you can really see returns on investment like that. And shout out to the 407 people watching. Appreciate y'all. If you're enjoying the stream, make sure you hit that like button. Helps out the channel tremendously. So yeah, speaking as far as King is concerned, I can see that from a logistics standpoint being very beneficial for Microsoft. But Blizzard, on the other hand, and Blizzard, we're going to spend a lot of time on Blizzard here, right? So Blizzard, we're not going to talk about the IPs. We're going to save that for later. But Blizzard, and another thing for all the people watching and sending in all the super chats and everything, I appreciate them, you guys. I really do. But I'm going to save those for the super chat section of the stream, okay? But again, thank you guys so much for the support. But with Blizzard are, I don't know if anymore, but Blizzard are kings when it comes to PC gaming. That's where they thrive. Consoles are kind of an afterthought for them. Blizzard has BlizzNet, which to this day is still one of the best launchers available on PC. And this is something a lot of people aren't really noticing. Xbox's PC approach has been very successful if you are a fan of playing games on Steam. Xbox, as far as a launcher itself, built into Windows 10 and now Windows 11, listen, I'm trying to be nice here, but it ain't it, Chief. It is not it. But then you have something like BlizzNet. If they could find a way to take all of the engineering work that has already existed on BlizzNet and sort of incorporate that into Xbox or vice versa, whichever is easiest, I can see that being very beneficial for PC gamers. Because PC gamers, contrary to popular belief, PC gamers are very loyal to a brand. And this brand is Steam. That's the platform. That's where it's integrated. So if you have something like BlizzNet, which is actually a really good launcher, and people enjoy using it, and you add in that Xbox Code of Pain or whatever, that's going to be much more beneficial to a PC gamer who wants to game with Xbox. Because, hey, listen, you're already playing all these Blizzard games, and now you can add the Xbox games into the mix with the exact same launcher or something else, like whatever hybrid approach they want to make. Either way, because I'm just spitballing here, this is something that needs to be done, because Xbox on PC, from a Microsoft standpoint, I'm not talking about Steam because that's a third-party standpoint. From a Microsoft standpoint, Xbox on PC is very, very lacking. I get it. They just got back into PC gaming full-time within the past couple of years, but listen, this is a $1 trillion company here. There should be no reason why your service is falling behind Steam. Like, I don't care how much time Steam is invested into their platform. Like, you should lead by example, especially if you've got the bank for something like that. So that right there could be a potential big play. When that happens, I don't know, because a lot of this stuff that I'm saying right now is more speculatory, because this deal is not going to close for a year and a half at the minimum. And from there, when they can start doing all this stuff and implementing it, it could be another year, 2 years plus. So this is definitely a long game for Microsoft, which we'll touch more on later on, right? But speaking from an IP perspective, and I know all the World of Warcraft fans and, anyone who's a fan of Blizzard, feel free to chime in down below. I know some people, like, when they hear a big company has acquired Blizzard, blah, 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 like they could ruin it, yada, yada, yada. I'm gonna keep it a buck. It's not like it can get any worse. Because with the state of Blizzard fans right now, I really feel for y'all. I do. Shout out to my homie, Shut Up Gabe. He's probably in the chat right now. But this is my homie right here. He be telling me everything that be going down from Activision Blizzard, and not from a news standpoint, from a fan's perspective. The disrespect to franchises like World of Warcraft. The disrespect, bro, for what is the most popular MMO of all time. And they're treating it like it's garbanzo beans, like it's straight basura. disrespecting its fans left and right, no type of direction whatsoever. Same thing for Diablo. Same thing for Overwatch. With Overwatch 2, bro, they straight up just announced that stuff to cover up for the whole Hong Kong situation that was happening. But yeah, Blizzard is not in a good state right now. If you guys think there's toxicity going on at just Activision as a whole, Blizzard is a different beast entirely. There's a lot of shit there that needs to be, there needs to be some clean house. And I really feel like my heart goes out to all of these developers. It's like, could you imagine growing up playing games like Diablo 1, Diablo 2, and you know, you go through a school to work to become a game designer, and you finally get a chance to work on Diablo 4, and it's just a development mess? Could you imagine like playing World of Warcraft for hours at a time, and you finally get a chance to work on this new one, and it's a mess? Like, if there is one benefit, I think the fact that Microsoft has acquired Activision Blizzard, it can help mitigate a lot of those problems that are there. And at the very least, it can't get any worse. It cannot get any worse than how it is right now. Okay? Now, moving into the main meat and potatoes for a lot of people out there, specifically those who game on consoles, Activision, Call of Duty, Spyro, Tony Hawk, any other IP, a lot of classic IPs from like the 80s and the 90s. That is monumental. Call of Duty alone, Call of Duty, regardless of how much it's fallen off in the past couple of years, Call of Duty still charts. And for the regular Joe Schmo out there, and here's another thing I think folks got to, they kind of have to separate themselves from when they're talking about, you know, gaming as a whole. Because I see a lot of people out there saying like, oh, you know, it doesn't matter that they bought Call of Duty. I don't care about Call of Duty. Call of Duty's mid. Call of Duty hasn't been good since yada, 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 whatever. Yet every single year, Call of Duty is charting. Sometimes we got to separate ourselves from our little echo chamber of sorts. You know, a lot of people question who is still buying Grand Theft Auto 5. I myself wonder who's still buying Grand Theft Auto 5. But there's a lot of casual gamers out there who buy a system for a game. And if you're telling me that there could come a time where Call of Duty is now exclusive to Xbox and PC, that is going to move the needle. A game like Starfield, you can argue, okay, that's not going to move the needle. But a game like Call of Duty, where it takes up a huge percentage of all of these platforms' revenue, both PlayStation and Xbox, that game being exclusive at some point is going to cause ripples and waves throughout the industry. And you cannot deny that. You can't. And we'll touch a little bit more later on about the whole exclusivity angle, because I know you guys, I see it in the comment section, you want me to talk about it. But Call of Duty is big for gaming. There are people who buy consoles just for Call of Duty. And if Xbox was able to find a way to make even just the mainline games exclusive, that's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. Not only that, but getting MLG Major League Gaming, which for the longest time, Call of Duty and anything professional out there has been associated, if it's on a console, has been associated to PlayStation, right? All of the biggest tournaments on PlayStation, fighting games on PlayStation, regardless of whether they're multi-plat or exclusive, on PlayStation. Now Xbox is going to be the face of that? Dude, it's absolutely insane. But when you're looking at all the other IPs that they have, Tony Hawk, Spyro, maybe some legacy franchises, those things, in my opinion, they're not going to move the needle. They're great stuff to have in your ecosystem, in your repertoire of things, so it's not just Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty. But most people out there, you know, it's not going to be that big a deal. But if there is one thing that I do want to see from this whole acquisition, one thing I do want to see is I want to see these developers get some time off, right? Because I'm sure you guys have noticed this, right? There was this weird quasi-redemption arc that was sort of happening with Activision a few years back, right? Where they put out the Crash Bandicoot Insane Collection, right? The Insane Trilogy. And a lot of people were like, yo, this could be the start of something new, because they gave us 3 classic Crash games and they're competently made remakes. This is awesome. And then what happened after that? They did the exact same thing for Spyro the Dragon. And then what happened after that? They did the exact same thing for Tony Hawk. They finally gave us a good Tony Hawk product after the last couple of stinkers. But then they did something unprecedented, and they announced Crash 4. Crash Bandicoot 4. And when I saw that announcement, I was just like, are you telling me that Activision was like, yes, we're going to do another Crash game? Activision, the company that for the longest time, the only Crash representation, Spyro representation you got was in Skylanders. That Activision is giving us a sequel, a real Crash game? Dude, the sky is the limit at this point. It's like, what in the world is going on? But then, as soon as they gave us that glimmer of hope, it was taken away, because every single developer housed under Activision was relegated to work on Call of Duty. That was one of the most disappointing things that I ever woke up to in the gaming industry. And I know that sounds very first world problem. It is, but for a lot of people out there, we grew up playing these franchises, and we always want to root for good stuff in gaming. Even if it's coming from an entity like Activision or EA or Ubisoft, we want to root for good stuff. But then to do that, to take all of this creativity and this goodwill and then just throw it out the window and say, okay, you got to work on Call of Duty. It doesn't matter. You're a support studio for Warzone. It doesn't matter. That was disappointing. So if there is something that I want from this situation, I really do hope that a lot of these studios like Beanox and High Moon and Raven, they can go back to making video games and not just Call of Duty. Maybe it's time for Call of Duty to take a break. I know it's sacrilegious because I'm saying that, Call of Duty, it's going to be huge for Xbox now. But maybe it's time Call of Duty goes back to being a biannual event. You already have something like Warzone, which is printing money. And most people out there, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't even know mainline Call of Duty games come out, because all they know is Warzone. Like, for a lot of people out there, Warzone is their primary way of playing Call of Duty. They don't buy the main installments anymore. Like I said, I'm not speaking for everybody, but I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people are like, nah, I'll stick with Warzone. If you were to focus on Warzone, maybe have your studios do Warzone, right? And then let some of these other studios work on their own properties, and then maybe let Treyarch and Infinity Ward go back to their 3-year dev cycles. Like, dude, that would be absolutely incredible, because what happens right then and there? If you let companies like Treyarch and Infinity Ward, like, give them a team and let them work on Call of Duty on a biannual basis or every 3 years. I'm gunning for 3 years, because the thing about back in the PS3 360 and the early PS4 X1 generation is it was much easier to work on a game in an annual fashion. But now, as we approach the next generation of consoles, the increased workload, working on so many different SKUs, I mean, we got this will go away in the next couple of years, but the PS4, the Xbox One, the Pro variants of those consoles. Now you have the next generation consoles, the PS5, the Xbox Series S and X and PC, and then now cloud as well. That's a lot of undertaking. And games, they're not getting cheaper. And when games become more expensive, there's plenty of stuff that can go wrong in the mix. So let these companies have some breathing room. Like, just give it a break. Just give it a break. I'm pretty sure everyone out there will be happy if you just let these franchises take a break for a while and then come back with something strong. Like, I'm sure a lot of people out there will agree that the Call of Duty Modern Warfare campaign, Modern Warfare 2019, was actually one of the stronger entries in the series. I know, sure, some people might not like it, but still, that's some good stuff. Now imagine they fired on all cylinders with a 3-year dev cycle, a really good competitive multiplayer that can stand on its own by comparison to Warzone, and a jaw-dropping single-player campaign that really pushes the boundaries of the medium. Like, that would be absolutely incredible. And then the developers are happy, the fans are happy, they're still making money with Warzone. Dude. But then you let companies like Beanox and High Moon do their own thing. Like, dude, I'm not saying that they're going to let these companies work on licensed games. Like, I would love for High Moon Studios to work on another Transformers game. Are there any Transformers fans in the chat? The Cybertron duology? Oh my god, dude. Like that, like criminally underrated licensed titles. And if you want to get back into the licensed game, I mean, they already know what they're doing. So by all means, let them work on that, or let them work on their own IP. Let them, I don't know, experiment, do something different. Like, God forbid anybody under a big publisher will get the opportunity to work on something, or maybe shop around your older IPs to these studios. They might do like a Prototype reboot. I mean, Prototype wasn't the greatest game in the world, but it had potential. It had some interesting concepts. I would love for them to do something like that with those studios. But the important thing is that these studios have diversity. And I'm not talking about that corporate diversity type of term. I'm talking about legit diversity where you could be like, yo, Beanox can do this. High Moon Studios can do that. Raven could do something. Like, dude, can we get like another game on the level of Singularity? Like, oh my God, like people forget that there was a time where Activision was bankrolling a lot of these different kind of games. I mean, they adhered to the whole shooty bang bang type of thing, but you know, they worked with what they had to do. And I love that. So looking at all these games, I'm really hoping that they get back to not business as usual. They get back to doing what they want. And that can make Activision Blizzard a much more enticing publisher to gamers out there. Like, remember when, oh man, this is going to be a stab in the heart. But do you guys remember once upon a time, my friends, there was an era when Ubisoft pumped out so many different games. They were pumping out quality mainline Assassin's Creed games. They were pumping out quality Splinter Cell games. They were pumping out Prince of Persia. They were pumping out quality Rainbow Six games of different genres, and they were all fantastic. And then you had their smaller games like Child of Light and Valiant Heart. I remember that Ubisoft. I remember the Ubisoft that took a chance and gave us Naruto the Broken Bond, one of the best anime games of all time. Broken Bond fans, I hear you. Just imagine that. Imagine a return to that good era. Oh man. But yeah, you guys, that basically wraps up my general thoughts on this part of the acquisition. I mean, I still can't believe it to this day that this is actually happening, if it does go through, which is another thing I want to touch on. This will be really quick because I don't have much to speak on this, but there's a group of people who question whether or not this Activision Blizzard acquisition will go through because they think it violates antitrust laws. Is Microsoft becoming a monopoly in the gaming industry? Listen, I am not too well versed in the world of antitrust. I'm only speaking anecdotally from what I've seen with other industries and other mediums. But seeing how companies like Disney was able to acquire 20th Century Fox, was able to acquire things like Pixar, was able to acquire Marvel. Obviously, those are different mediums, so there's like a different set of rules. But seeing Amazon make huge purchases, seeing Apple make huge purchases, seeing Google make huge purchases, and they haven't said jack shit to those companies, I don't see this being a case with Activision Blizzard, especially because Xbox is not the market leader. It'd be one thing if they were the market leader and Sony and them were going neck and neck, but Xbox is third place right now. They're third place in the console war, and they're not even the most valuable publisher by comparison to everybody else like Sony and Tencent. So if I had to like gut check right now as of January 18th, 2022, I don't think it's going to get blocked, but you know, stranger things have happened, right? Stranger things have happened in this world of capitalism. Because remember, that's the thing that people got to forget at the end of the day. Money talks in capitalism, whether you like it or not. Money talks. So, you know, whether there's an exchanging of hands or something like that, I don't know. But I did want to bring that to y'all's attention because that is a discussion that a lot of people are having. In addition to, I'm going to get to the exclusivity stuff. Calm down, guys. Calm down. We got to talk about the important shit first. in addition to the major elephant in the room that can't keep their hands to themselves, this acquisition comes at a really questionable time in the gaming industry. Because, shout out to the 577 people watching. Shout out to y'all. If you're enjoying the stream, make sure you hit that like button. Helps out the channel. Would you guys prefer me doing more of these live streams? Because it seems like you guys resonate to this a lot more than just like the standard video uploads. Let me know down below. If anything, I'll probably put up a poll during a super chat break. But the major elephant in the room in the gaming industry for the past 7 months has been the sexual harassment cases that have plagued AB, right? And unfortunately, like many things in the industry, it's kind of died down since then. We only rarely hear about this stuff when it makes a major splash. And that's just the sad part about the world we live in. Really terrible things get the spotlight for X amount of time, and then people go back to business as usual. I mean, anyone out there, I'm not going to get too much into this, but you know, the stuff that happened back in 2020 with all the protests and the riots and everything, and then now it's just back to business as usual. It's a sad, unfortunate reality. But to purchase them, literally, while it's still fresh in people's minds, right? I can't speak for anybody, but Phil Spencer, man, I think there's a reason why he said we are going to be reevaluating our relationship with AB. I would not be surprised if this man, Phil Spencer, was just like, how much is it going to cost to get Bobby Kotick out of this company? You said a $70 million buyout? I bet. This man, I'm telling you, Phil Spencer is just assembling the Infinity Gauntlet right now. Like, what's he got? He's got all these other studios. He's got Bethesda. He's got Activision Blizzard. I don't know what's next, man. This man's becoming too powerful. CEO. This man's becoming Phil Spencer's gonna acquire sex. That's what Phil Spencer's gonna do. He's gonna bring sex to Xbox Game Pass. Everybody rejoice. Can I get a round of applause in the comment section for Phil Spencer acquiring sex and maybe giving us a sequel to Sex? Might get Sex 2. Oh my god, that'd be amazing. But back on point. This is the part that makes me feel kind of awkward, because to purchase a company, an entity like Activision Blizzard, in light of everything happening, if you do not lead from the top and make an example of everybody in this situation, then this Activision Blizzard buyout is just straight business. That's it. Because it cannot be stated more than it already has that what's been going on at Activision and Blizzard, and I'm not just talking about the sexual harassment stuff, that's terrible too, but the crunch culture, the promises of gaining full-time employment for years of contract work and then requiring people to relocate to a different state, upend their entire lives, and then ending up laying those people off, like, that is a terrible culture. And I'm not saying that Microsoft is perfect. Phil Spencer himself has come out and said that, you know, we've made some really questionable, fucked up decisions over the years. Like, anyone out there who knows the stuff that happened with Lionhead and everything out there, I'm not going to sit here and rehash every single thing that happened, but there was a lot of mismanagement of studios over at Xbox. And Phil Spencer, rightfully so, takes the blame for that, you know, as any good CEO should, instead of trying to point fingers at other people. But if you're going to acquire this company and not clean house, I'm talking like legit, systemic, top to bottom, clean house review, an independent review. I'm not talking about you employ an outside agency to do something. I'm talking about you guys, the Microsoft culture that you guys pride yourselves on. Like, everybody wants to work for Microsoft. Everybody wants to work for Google. Everybody wants to work for Apple. The stuff that you guys pride yourself on. I want to see that same energy applied to these studios, because they need it. They need clean house. There's too much toxicity in this workplace environment. So I'm hoping that if this deal goes through, first things first, Bobby Kotick's got to get out of there. He has to. And that leads us to our next piece, which is coming courtesy of Bloomberg right here, which I guess this was my one free article of the, because, you know, Bloomberg is a site that has a monthly subscription and everything, so it doesn't let you see everything. But Bloomberg does a lot of good reporting. But they were talking about how Bobby Kotick right here, see, Activision CEO Bobby Kotick will continue to serve in his role only until the deal closes, a person familiar with the deal said. Once the transaction is completed, the Activision Blizzard business will report to Phil Spencer, who, as a part of the deal, was promoted to the CEO of Microsoft Gaming. And then going down the list right here, there's just a whole bunch of other stuff that they're talking about, mainly the situation that happened in the summer, mistreatment of women and sexual misconduct and everything. But there was one line in particular. Oh, here it is right here. Kotick initially didn't want to sell, according to another person familiar with the talks. Also, like I said, this is coming from secondhand reports. So this is not official, but this is coming from people who actually have insight of it. So you do want to take it with a grain of salt, as people say. Kotick initially didn't want to sell, according to another person familiar with the talks, and also put word out to see if any other company would outbid Microsoft. But at that point, Kotick had little leverage with his board amid the ongoing public scrutiny at his company. Right? Microsoft's bid is a 45% premium on Activision's closing price Friday. However, it's a bargain compared with the stock performance of the first half of last year before the sexual bias lawsuit plunged the company into crisis. Their shares hit a high of more than 100 apiece in February and then lost nearly half their value by the end of the year. Microsoft shares fell about 2% Tuesday afternoon in New York, which just happens in the industry with all this stuff. But yeah, the only way this deal was going to go through, it unfortunately has to be because of the sexual assault situation that was going on with Activision Blizzard. Like, it got to the point where Kotick didn't want to sell, but the other people were just like, no, you're going to sell. It is what it is. So it seems like, if you believe what these people are saying, Kotick is going to remain the CEO for the remainder of the year. So Activision is going to be operating business as usual for the next year or so, but upon the completion of this, it seems like Kotick is going to leave, whether they're going to oust him or he's going to leave voluntarily. But knowing how things work in this capitalist society, he's going to leave and he's going to have a very, very, very lucrative package. And here's the thing. And before people get it twisted, I'm not here trying to defend Bobby Kotick at all. I am not. So don't take this the wrong way. But Bobby Kotick made Activision the company that it is today. Bobby Kotick has been with this company for what, close to 30 years, if that, exactly 30 years, something along those lines. But every single thing that Activision, like, he basically built Activision into the company that it is today. For better or for worse. I'm not saying this excuses anything. But when you have somebody who is that powerful and is able to build the company to this crazy degree, of course he's going to have a major stake in it, right? And then all the other packages that come with being the CEO. That's why every single time, regardless of the layoffs in the company, Bobby Kotick still walks away with these lucrative deals. Because he did what he did in a capitalist society and looked out for himself. So if he does leave the company, he's going to get a major buyout, right? And according to, well, not a major buyout, but he's going to get a major payday. And according to from what I've been seeing from some folks internally, that's going to be north of $300 million. $300 million just to leave. And I know a lot of people, they're looking at that like, all right, so you're telling me that Microsoft just spent all this money and this, arguably for some people, the worst guy in all of gaming is going to walk away a millionaire? Dude, Bobby Kotick is not strapped for cash. Either way, whether he retired now or he retired 20 years from now, he's going to walk away with money. That's the unfortunate reality. Like people don't understand when it comes to a lot of these corporate executives and all these companies and companies that you guys, we don't even know what they do. It doesn't matter how much bad press they get. Like, they are stacked, they are loaded, and that's how it's going to be because they have these systems in place. So yeah, that's the sad reality of this situation. But if this deal does close, and like I said, this deal is tentative, it's not closed yet, it seems like Bobby Kotick is going to walk away with a very, very, very lucrative payday. All right. But yeah, you guys, that basically, let's see. So we tackled the Activision buyout from a surface level. We talked about the sexual harassment. We talked about some of the other things. Before we get into the exclusivity discussion, I do want to take some time to shout out all the super chats that you guys have been giving, because you guys have been blessing it all throughout. So thank you guys so much. Give me a second to go ahead and check out some of these super chats right quick. Hold on one second. I gotta find them. I gotta find them real quick. Let me see if I can scroll all the way to the where. Hold on. See, I'm such a grandpa with this. I'm trying to find like all the super chats where they could pop up on stream. Hold on. I think this is the button. No, it's not the button. Where is the button? Okay, I gotta find them. I gotta find the rest of the super chats, but I'm gonna work my way up from what my screen is showing me right now. Okay, so $5 super chat coming in from Anime Gaming Nerd. With Sony losing Japan to Nintendo, and now with this news possibly losing America to what? With Sony losing Japan to Nintendo, and now with this news possibly losing America to NA, what can they basically do to save their market share? Okay, so this is actually going to be something we discuss when we talk about the exclusivity angle of things and whether or not all these games are going to go fully exclusive or there's going to be a hybrid approach, yada, yada. But I'll give you guys a little bit of a teaser because we're going to spend some time talking about this later down the road. But I think what Sony needs to do now that, you know, Japan's really not there for them like they used to, because that's just how it is with Japan and console gaming. If it isn't mobile or streaming, they don't really care. But what I think Sony should do is just double, triple, quadruple down on what they're doing right now. What they need to do is focus on, first off, cultivating all the studio relationships that they have right now and bolstering them so we can get more games on the level of Insomniac Spider-Man, Ghost of Tsushima, God of War, Last of Us. But I'll talk a little bit more about that later. Thank you so much, Anime Gaming Nerd. We got a $5 super chat coming in from Purified Storm. My friends and I feel Xbox is taking away established studios and games from PS5 and Nintendo players just to be Xbox and PC exclusive only. I mean, that's the thing, man. That's the unfortunate reality of this situation. And like, let's be real. PlayStation, when they bought Insomniac, they took away the potential for those games to go other places. Now, obviously, it's a little different because PlayStation and Insomniac, they were dating for the longest time, and he finally put a ring on the finger. But that's just the nature of the business in this capitalist society. They're going to purchase these studios to bolster their own stable and their own lineup. And that just is what it is. Like, do people get mad when Netflix poaches directors to make something that's exclusive to their platform? No, because if people love the directors enough, they're going to go ahead and subscribe to Netflix. It's the unfortunate reality. People like to complain about it, but at the same time, they're a-okay with it when it happens to other entities that they're interested in. I don't know. But yeah, we'll speak more on that exclusivity stuff as we because that's literally our next topic for the night. Let's see. Let's go ahead and scroll down through. Let's see. We got a $5 super chat from Rashad Z. They own Free Radical now. Time Splitters reboot. I mean, yeah, they own a lot of classic properties, and like I said, there could be some synergy between all of the different studios. I'm not saying it'll happen because a lot of these studios run pretty autonomously for themselves, but we've been saying for like the past year and a half how awesome it would be if id Software got a chance to work on Halo, or if maybe Obsidian got a chance to make a classic Fallout game, or if they want to do Fallout New Vegas, something like that. Stuff like that is definitely on the table. It's in the cards, but that's not going to happen until later down the road. Because like I said, guys, all these things we're talking about right now, the potential good, that's not like, we're not going to see the fruits of this until like 2024, 2025. The earliest we're going to see some of this stuff is going to be those games being added to Game Pass. So a lot of the pre-existing Activision entities being rolled into Game Pass. That's going to be the soonest we see anything from this. But if we're talking like reboots, remakes, remasters, that's like further down, 2024, 2025, 2026. Like I'll probably have a kid by then at that point. Let's see. All right, so going down the list, $5 from newsoul.9. Bruh. Head exploding emoji. I just saw the news. They really think to use money to win. And yeah, that's another thing. And I want to pose this question to you guys. What do you think about this situation? What do you guys think about Microsoft basically buying their way around cultivating all of these studios? Because, you know, it's much easier for them to buy properties than it is to cultivate a workplace culture, which is one of Sony's benefits as an entity. They do an insanely good job at studio cultivation, which again, we'll touch more on later. You guys are like psychics when it comes to this stuff. And then we got another $10 super chat coming in from New Soul. Thank you so much for that, bro. Neo, I don't think Bobby is going to leave straight away because Microsoft wants studios that can run themselves. So it'll probably take Microsoft a while to find a replacement that's a good suit to lead Activision. Yeah, you know, like we said, I don't expect Bobby Kotick to leave until this deal goes through. So either way, Activision Blizzard has the time, if he is thinking of leaving now, to find a suitable replacement or a temporary CEO or anybody who could run this. But at the end of the day, whoever they get has to adhere to Phil Spencer. They're going to answer to Phil Spencer as far as all the things are concerned. So yeah, like I said, I don't think he's going to leave immediately, but it's going to be further down the road. But because if they do keep him there, it's going to be that eyesore that people see. It's going to look so ugly. Like, dude, you're keeping this guy that basically fostered this workplace abuse culture. It's not a good look, man. It's always going to be in the back of everybody's mind when they talk and they cover these games. $2 super chat from ND Gaming. What happens if the deal doesn't happen? If the deal doesn't happen, the deal doesn't happen. I mean, I'm sure Microsoft is probably going to take a little bit of an L in terms of the money they spend. But yeah, if the deal doesn't happen, the deal doesn't happen, and they just move on to something else. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more insightful responses from people in the community if it doesn't happen, you know? We got a £5 super chat coming in from Spartan Ghost 17. Thank you. Spartacus is dead on arrival. Oh no. Call of Duty? This means Sony will have no choice but to open up for Game Pass. Imagine if they get FIFA. That's Europe. Yup. And like I said, I'm not trying to brush over y'all super chats, but that's literally going to be our next topic. And I got a lot to say on this. $5 super chat coming in from Eric the Red 06. You think Sony called Activision immediately after the news dropped to try and cut some deal to ensure its future games released on their platform? Oh, I mean, I don't think that's, I don't know if they, I'm trying to figure out where my water is over there. I don't think it's something that's that serious, but then again, who knows, man? I mean, everything, like I said, is just tentative at this point, so you know, if they were saying, okay, let's cut deals immediately, that would have to be something that they're doing right now up until June 2023, which at that point, you got to see if that's really lucrative. Like, what could they really get out of that? Because I assume once the deal goes through, every other deals they have in place, it's not that they're going to be null and void, but they're just going to run out. And that's another thing. Would Sony even want to, in light of this current Activision Blizzard sexual harassment culture, would they even want to renew their Call of Duty deals? Like, yes, you can say, well, it's just business at the end of the day, Neo, but that's still an ugly eyesore that people are always going to bring up. 199 super chat from Ruthless Beats. Xbox literally pulled a Thanos. Yep, with the dual Infinity Gauntlet at this point. $2. Let's see. $2 super chat coming in from the homie Gaming Addict. Sarah Bond takes his place. It would be a good look. You know, the thing about Sarah Bond, and a shout out Sarah Bond if you watching. The thing about Sarah Bond is I feel just based off of her track record and everything, I feel like they're kind of grooming her to take over Phil's role when he eventually retires from the company. Because, like, here's the thing, you guys. Phil has been working with Microsoft for well over 20 years, man. And while he's at the height of his rise right now running Xbox, there is going to come a point where Phil's just going to be like, you know what? I'm going to tap out, man. I'm going to tap out. I want to do my own thing. Maybe he wants to retire to the countryside, maybe buy a farm and sit back and just look at a grateful universe. Like, maybe that's what he wants to do. So I think if there was anybody else who could take his place, it's looking like Sarah Bond. But then again, we don't know with how things work in these capitalistic societies. They could literally promote somebody that we don't know, and it's like, oh, okay, sure, let's go with that one. But Sarah Bond is the CEO of Activision. I don't know about that, man. I like Sarah Bond where she's at right now, and I'd want her to keep doing what she's doing in the Xbox ecosystem rather than Activision. Let's see. We got $9.99 coming in from Kiko Jones 24. Thank you. People keep saying Xbox is now taking third-party games away from PlayStation, but PlayStation paying Japanese devs to keep games on Xbox, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Final Fantasy 16, Street Fighter 5, and Persona 5. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. All these companies cut these deals, and it's not that there isn't a chance that those games could come to Xbox, but when you're going out there and you're paying for an exclusivity deal for years. Like, it's one thing if they just did Final Fantasy VII Remake and it was timed exclusive for a year, but they also paid for the Intergrade Intermission DLC, which extended that window for another 6 months. Now the game finally came out on PC, but Is it going to come out on Xbox? I don't know. And then you have to question whether or not some of these publishers want to put those games on Xbox. I know people don't like to do this, but there isn't a lot of Japanese support on Xbox. And it's kind of a vicious cycle, which we'll touch more on later. But if we start seeing them nab up more exclusive deals for Japanese games, I mean, it's not that it, like, again, it's what people said. Well, you have a PC, you could still play those games. And with Xbox, if they do nab up a publisher, you have it on Xbox, PC, and cloud streaming, which is technically, in some cases, 2 more platforms that didn't exist. Because remember, not every single one of Activision's games was on PC. They only recently started getting back into putting it full force. Let's see. $4.99 coming in from Arlay TSL. Thank you so much for that. I don't see a message here. I'm sorry. $6.99 Canadian from Jordan. You're gonna make $70 billion acquiring these super chats. I appreciate all the support, you guys. Thank you so much. You know, it's kind of funny. One of my homies, Flame, shout out to Flame if you're watching. He said, "How much is it gonna cost for Xbox to acquire Ask Neo and put it on Game Pass?" Bro, I don't know. I'm gonna let y'all put a number on that one. $5 from Trey Wilcox. Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony gave him warnings, so Microsoft went in for the kill and now is gonna take over. Oof, he's saying they went for the jugular. And this will be our last super chat before we go into the next topic. Again, thank you guys so much for the super chats. If I'm Sony, my next move is a merger with Nintendo. Sony Pictures would make a killing on creating TV shows and movies based off video games, and Sony already has a pre-existing deal with Netflix. I mean, that's interesting, and you know, that's a perfect segue into our next topic of discussion, which I feel like I've been talking nonstop for an hour, you guys. Oh my god. Oh my god. I gotta take a little bit of a break. I'm gonna take a little bit of a break. Let me get this water right quick. You guys continue to talk in the comments, all right? I'll be right back. See, look at that. I'm right back. See, I didn't leave you guys. Listen, there's no abandonment issues going on in this NeoGameSpark stream. Oh man. Now let me just go ahead and get some more water, man, because this is gonna be a doozy of a discussion, man. And for the people that donated super chats before, I'm trying my best to find them beforehand. They're just it's just not coming up on my feed. So for those who are watching and donated earlier on, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna try my best to find them, and if I can't find them, I'll make sure to like check the playback, and I'll shout you guys out on Ask Neo, and we'll talk about that. But Neo's old age is catching up. Hey, listen, man, I've been in this shit for 14 years, man. At some point, you're just like, I feel like I'm gonna have my Logan arc, right? They gonna do the Logan movie, but with Neo. Like, that's how I feel right now. I don't know. I can't be decapitating people like I used to. But appreciate the support, you guys. Thank you, truly. Thank you so much. But are you guys enjoying yourself? Also, I didn't damn it, okay, I'm gonna put up the poll right now. Because I want to get you guys' take on this, right? Because I love creating video content. As you guys know, I love making videos and everything. And if you watch the videos, you know I like to add in the theatrics and everything. That's always gonna be a passion of mine. But one thing I've noticed is that you guys like the flexibility of live streams. You like the engagement. You like being able to talk. And a comment I got from Ask Neo is, I would love for you to do these on a more consistent basis where you just talk about the topics rather than a stream. So I'm going to do a poll right here where I want to get your guys' input. Would you guys prefer, if there's like a major topic, I go live to discuss it? Or would you just want me to do like a standalone video about it, which might take quite some time, especially with how my schedule is out here to put out that video? And then Ask Neos, of course, are going to be just business as usual. So I'm going to put a poll right here down below. What should it be? Can Neo spell today? Would you prefer? I'll put like breaking news, live streams, because I'm gonna be bringing back the podcast with Gabe as well, and that'll be one where we can talk about stuff. But I know you guys just like the solo Dolo Neo streams where we can talk about stuff. And then I'll put edited videos, because what I was thinking about doing is like doing the breaking news live streams / a podcast, right? I'll do that with the podcast with Gabe, breaking news live streams myself. And then maybe if there's something really beneficial to discuss, like this Xbox Bethesda thing, I would do a standalone video, which is much more like easily digestible for people to enjoy. So I'll just put that right there. I'm going to ask you guys, the poll should be live if you guys are looking at the comments. If you guys are looking at the comments, it should be there. Let me know if the poll's there. Okay, so the poll just showed up on my end. And while this poll is going, we're going to tackle what you guys all wanted. And we're going to discuss how this situation pertains to Sony. Because you don't make such a juggernaut move like acquiring a publisher that is valued at 70 billion without the biggest entity in console gaming right now noticing, that being PlayStation. Okay? So this is going to hurt PlayStation in the long run. It is. And I understand that a lot of people talk about, well, I don't care about Call of Duty. Call of Duty is a dying brand. I don't care about Overwatch. I don't care about Diablo. I don't care about all these. So for me, it doesn't matter. Sometimes we have to separate ourselves from that way of thinking, like our individual gaming mindsets, because gaming is so much bigger than that. And gaming has been streaming. Wow. Yeah, gaming has been streaming. But gaming has been evolving in the past couple of years from entertainment as a product to entertainment as a service, much like most media has evolved from entertainment as a product to entertainment as a service. When was the last time someone went out there and bought a CD of something? No one does it anymore. Everybody streams it. Same thing for TV shows and movies. I mean, for my movie lovers out there, we still buying the 4K movies. We still buying the 4K movies. If you want the best picture and best sound, I don't care what people say. I don't care about streaming. 4K Blu-ray players is the shit. Shout out to all my movie fans in the chat right now. I got a nice pickup to show y'all later on, man. Got that Snyder cut in 4K. It's beautiful, bro. Yeah. But gaming has been evolving over the past couple of years. And it's grown exponentially to a point where the people that used to be the primary audience of gamers, like gaming, which were gamers, we are now the minority, right? So if you look on Twitter, because we all love Twitter. I love Twitter. It's my favorite platform. But when you look at Twitter and you hear how people are talking about certain things like, oh, this is terrible, no one's going to buy this, yada, yada, yada. That doesn't really translate to real life. Do you remember how there was a time where everyone went from like loving Call of Duty to hating Call of Duty? And they're like, all right, we're not gonna buy Call of Duty anymore. Call of Duty's lame. But then the sales of Call of Duty kept going up and up and up and up. Because there's a lot of people out there who don't watch YouTube videos, who don't follow folks on Twitter, and they just buy the games that look interesting to them. That's a lot of Activision's bottom line with Call of Duty. Same thing with EA with FIFA. So when you have an entity like Call of Duty, which makes up a sizable chunk of both Xbox's and PlayStation's revenue, potentially taking that off of their platform is going to be catastrophic for them. Because if you look at the amount of revenue that they make off of their in-house exclusives, that's a drop in the bucket by comparison to third-party games, by comparison to Fortnite, by comparison to Warzone, by comparison to anything else. It's a drop in the bucket. When this deal goes through, if it goes through, and we come to this time where, you know, Warzone might stay multi-platform, but the next couple of Call of Duty games and all the Activision games going forward are going to be exclusive. That's taking away a lot of their revenue. That's taking away a lot of the Western revenue, especially when they're already losing all of the Western revenue. Like all of the major RPG studios that make games in the West are now exclusive to Xbox. Starfield, the next Elder Scrolls, the next Fallout, anything Obsidian puts out, anything the Wasteland team puts out, that's exclusive to Xbox. And I know people like to say, it doesn't matter, I don't care about those games, but it matters to these companies because that's where they make their money. I don't know how PlayStation responds. I really don't. I have absolutely no idea, because 24 hours ago, the thought of Xbox acquiring, like not only just Bethesda, but Activision alone is just unfeasible. It's unfathomable. I don't know what they do. I really don't. Now, there are some things that people are speculating. Some people are speculating that Phil Spencer did this move to, as my boy King David says, force Jim Ryan to bend the knee to bring Game Pass to PlayStation. And honestly, if you were to tell me this yesterday, I'd probably been like, sure, okay, King. Now, it's kind of believable. Because going back to Xbox's approach, they're all about getting Game Pass where Game Pass is offered. Xbox will put Game Pass on my Apple Watch if they could. They'd be like, all right, you know what? Game Pass is there. You can play something on it. This could be used as leverage by Xbox to say, hey, you want to get Game Pass on your platform? And then from there, they can introduce people into this ecosystem. Now, obviously, there would have to be some, because Sony is very stingy. So they wouldn't want to get the full fat Game Pass experience. It'd probably just be a curated list of games. But right then and there, you've got Xbox on your platform. That's doing nothing but giving Microsoft revenue, which, ooh, that'd be so pissed off, man. That'd be so pissed off. Oh, God. But I hear a lot of people also say, well, Neo, why doesn't PlayStation just acquire another publisher? Like, they've got to respond in kind. They got to fight back, PlayStation, fight back. This sounded like that fairy tale song. No, that's Strike Back. I just went full weeb mode for a second. Anime fans in the chat are like, yeah, that's the Neo I grew up with. But a lot of people are saying that PlayStation needs to respond in kind to go ahead and buy a publisher. PlayStation needs to buy Square Enix. PlayStation needs to buy Take-Two. Huh? I'm gonna be real. PlayStation doesn't need to buy a publisher. Also, PlayStation cannot afford a publisher, right? Sony has got some money in the bank, right? They've got some money in the bank, but the capital that it would require to go ahead and purchase a whole publisher, they ain't got that money, man. Microsoft has got screw you type of money. Microsoft has got that type of money where literally it's like Phil Spencer says, what's it called? Jump. And then Satya Nadella says, how high? Like, that's literally how much money they got in the bank. Like $70 billion for Activision, $7 billion for Bethesda. Like, that's insane. They're cutting all these Game Pass deals. What? Oh, that's another thing we gotta talk about. We gotta talk about how Game Pass has just gotten insane. But they don't have the capital to do that. So what I think they need to do, and this is probably the smartest approach, is I think PlayStation just needs to keep doing what they've been doing, right? And this is where I'm gonna give Sony all the flowers in the world, because they deserve it. They deserve it. PlayStation, out of all the publishers out there, has cultivated world-class talent, unlike anything else. When you look at the games out there that are pushing gaming forward from a narrative perspective, from a visual perspective, the complete package, because there's some studios out there that are really good with narratives, some that are really good with visuals and all that stuff, but PlayStation games, they have it in a complete package. You might not like all of their games, and that's fine, because we're human beings, we have different taste. But if you look at the quality of games on PlayStation consoles and you compare that to Xbox, no, there's no comparison whatsoever. I saw some of y'all capping in the Xbox One generation saying stuff like, well, Dead Rising 3, man, and Quantum Break. Stop it. Like, stop it. But here's the thing. PlayStation has those games. But the output of those games, it takes a long time to put out a God of War game. It takes a long time to put out a Last of Us Part 2. What I think PlayStation needs to do is they need to start doubling down on their studios. As gaming has gotten more expensive, the dev time for these games has gotten longer. There used to be a time where Naughty Dog was putting out Uncharted 2, Uncharted 3, The Last of Us within a 6-year time span, right? Now we go from the PS4 generation, Uncharted 4 in 2016, and then you had Lost Legacy in between, but that doesn't really count. And then 2020 you had The Last of Us. That's 2 games in an 8-year generation. Now, mind you, those are very high quality games, but that's only 2 games. Same thing for Santa Monica. They put out God of War 2018 and That's it. Again, high quality game. Sucker Punch, they put out Infamous Second Son in 2014, and it took them 6 years to put out Ghost of Tsushima. High quality games. I don't want to take that away from them. But if you're talking about making up for the lack of revenue, we got to start seeing some of these studios pumping out multiple properties a generation. We need to start seeing PlayStation put out existing properties and new IPs in tandem. Like every 3 years, we should see a major heavy hitter title coming from a major first party studio, right? So we got to see Naughty Dog put out, I'm just spitballing here, right? We got to see him put out Uncharted 5, and then 3 years later, put out The Last of Us Part 3, maybe put in a new IP somewhere in the mix, but we can't be going like 1 or 2 games a generation, man. We need to get more output, something similar to Insomniac. Insomniac, no pun intended with their name, they're a workhorse team, and they've built such an incredible culture there where they could be like, okay, you know what? So we're putting out all our games here. We just put out Spider-Man 2018. So we're going to have one team work on the Miles Morales DLC, and then we're going to go ahead and have another team work on the next Ratchet and Clank game. Now, obviously, they had that in development before. But that's the mindset they need to have. And then once this team is done, they're going to go ahead and do the Spider-Man 2 game. And then this team is going to work on the Wolverine game. Like, they need to be working like that. And then compare that to Naughty Dog, who, after Uncharted 4, right, all of their teams were all hands on deck for Last of Us Part 2, and it didn't even launch with the multiplayer. We're still waiting for factions. They're staffing up for factions. And now there's rumors about the Last of Us 1 remake, and then this new IP that may or may not happen in this lifetime. But there's got to be better structure to that. And from what I'm seeing, PlayStation is doing a very good job at that. PlayStation has started to say to their teams, like, okay, you can work on multiple properties, and they're also investing in more studios. They've acquired a lot of studios like Housemarque, Nixxes, Bluepoint. A lot of teams support studios. A lot of teams to help get their games on PC. So they're doing all the right things to bolster their output, which is going to be good for them. And I'm happy for them. But this is just something major to be taken away from a platform if the games go fully exclusive, man. So I would love to see all these studios fire on all cylinders and get to work on multiple properties. And I understand there's a concern, well, Neo, at some point, isn't that going to affect the quality of the games? Potentially. But that's where, again, you use that PlayStation cultivation of culture and you go ahead and you start staffing up. Like, they didn't just run out there and buy a new publisher. They bought very specific entities to bring into their family. Like how they acquired Firesprite. And Firesprite is working on the Horizon VR game. And then they're also apparently working on this other multiplayer title. And all these other studios are also working on different projects. So everything serves a purpose when it comes to the grand scheme of things of PlayStation acquisitions, which is very good. But yeah, this I can't see them not responding to this. Bethesda is one thing, but Activision is something else entirely. Like that's like I said, it's a good chunk of their revenue every single year. Okay, so I would love to see them do that. In addition to that, and this is probably where it's a lot more cheaper and more feasible for PlayStation, I would want them to start doing more second party deals, right? They're already doing that by investing in hasn't made a game in the longest time, Jade Raymond. They're investing in her studio, Haven, right? So that's a second party deal they're working on, a game for PlayStation 5. There's Deviation Games, who's working on a multiplayer game. They have history with former Call of Duty developers, Destiny developers. So that's probably going to be a multiplayer game. And things like that I would love to see. I want to see more second party deals. But I want to see second party deals that incorporate PlayStation's legacy and bring that into the modern era. Because one thing that, you know, PlayStation has over Xbox is legacy, is brand, is IP. Classic PlayStation properties. They have generations to this. Like when everybody went and played that Astrobot Playroom game and everyone went crazy over the nostalgia and all the classic properties, that is something that they have over Xbox. The only nostalgia thing Xbox got is Halo. Like, let's be honest. Let's be honest with ourselves right now. If we're talking in terms of like, man, like people, yeah, sure, people got memories about Voodoo Vince. People got memories about smaller things, but come on, we're not. Come on, let's be real about life for a second. Come on. So imagine if they were like, okay, let's work with this second party studio to put out a new Jack and Daxter game, whether that's Jack 4, whether that's a reboot, you know, let's work with some of these companies to work on a Siphon Filter reboot, which I think they should have let Ben Studios do, but you know, they just going to do another open world game. Yay. Let's let someone work on Sly Cooper 5. Let's let somebody work on a Legend of Dragoon remake. That to me is the top tier. That's what I want more than anything. Like let's get creative. Let's mix it up. Let's do these things with these properties. Let's make it happen. And the thing is, these don't got to be AAA $100 million budget games. They don't got to be that. They could be nice like mid-tier type of games. They could be nice little like AA budgets. Because I'm gonna be real, you don't need no AAA budget for a Sly Cooper or Jack and Daxter. Platformers should not be. Listen, we ain't trying to make all these shits like crazy open world. You know, just keep the budget in check. Listen. I know everyone's saying, well, what about these Xbox games? Like, guys, we talking about if there was a museum that people would pay money to go to. Anyways, but yeah, like do something with these properties. I feel like it's just the barrier of investment would be much lower by comparison to something that they would spend all their money on, like a God of War sequel. But yeah, I don't want to live in a world where it's just, you know, current PlayStation IP, last generation PlayStation IP, and that's it. It's just, it goes back and forth. I want to get some more diversity in the mix. I want more chances like the first Horizon game, right? They let Guerrilla do Horizon. I want more chances like that. I want more studios to work on different games. That's what I want. And I think maybe that'll be the most feasible approach. You don't need to buy a publisher to make an impact. And like, let's look at the data. Let's look at the numbers. With the amount of sales that all the PlayStation exclusives have brought in, 10 plus million, 15 plus million, 20 million. If you cultivate these IPs, you can make them the system sellers. Who in their wildest imaginations would have thought that a Guerrilla Games new IP, Horizon, would sell 10 plus million? Like, new IPs are lucky if they sell 2 million, 3 million at that. But for them to do that, it's a testament to the brand and the legacy, and they just have to keep doing that. So that's what I want to see out of PlayStation. I don't think they need to buy a whole publisher. I know a lot of people are saying, just buy Square Enix, don't do this. I mean, they're already getting exclusive deals from Square Enix. And listen, they already have Japan on lock when it comes to Japanese games. Like, they have Japanese games on lock. If someone out there is going to buy a Persona game, they're buying it on PlayStation. They're buying a Final Fantasy game on PlayStation. And if not, if it's on the Switch, they'll probably buy it on the Switch. They wouldn't have to worry about that if it was on Xbox. But I think the last thing we're talking about is how this is going to affect Xbox's long-term approach with Game Pass. Because I'm sure you guys already noticed this, but the Xbox Play long-term is all about getting content onto Game Pass. And this wasn't something that really could have happened before the Bethesda acquisition. Because I always said this with Game Pass. It's a great service. It's got a good list of games. But if we're talking long term, you've got to do something to make it worthwhile. Because that $15 a month, even if it goes up to $20 a month, you still have to justify its existence. And for some people, it's fine. You know, every now and then they get a cool Game Pass drop. Some other months it might be slow. It is what it is. But if we're talking about long term in terms of growing the user base, you need the heavy hitting titles, which is why buying Bethesda was so beneficial for them. Because they brought their studios up to 23. What was it, like 8 beforehand? Now they have 23. So getting all those games into Game Pass and having them come out, like with the studios that they had prior to the Activision Blizzard, they could have launched a major high-profile AAA game from Xbox Game Studios every 3 months, right? So that'd be 4 major heavy-hitting AAA titles, whether they're from the old school Xbox Game Studios or now with Bethesda. But when you add in Activision Blizzard into the mix, oh my God. Dude, that's like a game a month. That's a game a month. They've got like 30 plus studios now and so many different teams. And if they let these teams go back to making games, dude, that Game Pass subscription is going to be ridiculous. Like, could you just imagine, right? Just imagine. I'm just making this up.
But let's just say it's 2026, right? 2026, and we're looking at the calendar for Xbox that year. Like I'm just listing off random games. This is no way confirming the release dates. But let's just say it's 2026. We've got Fable, we got Perfect Dark, right? We got Fable, we got Perfect Dark, Starfield, Call of Duty, the next Doom game, like the next Fallout, the next Crash Bandicoot, the next freaking Beanox game, the next Raven game. Like, dude, there's enough content with all these studios to put out a game a month, sometimes multiple games a month. That is insane. That is insane. And the thing about Game Pass is that you don't have to worry. Like, Microsoft has already done the heavy lifting. They cut the check. They cut the check, man. So you don't have to worry about our game not making its budget in the first week. Because with Game Pass, if, like, let's say, for example, there's like a busy month, that game is still on the service. Like, let's say a game comes out, like, let's say Forza Horizon 6, which finally takes place in Japan. Let's say they put that game out, and that's the only game you want to play for 2 months straight. Even though they're launching, let's say, Singularity 2. That game will always still be in the service for you. And that's not even counting all the other third-party deals. If they're going to continue doing third-party deals, because I'm going to be real. They can probably, like, fall back on some of them third-party deals now that they bought Activision. I mean, they'll still do it. But it won't be, they don't really got to. They don't got to go out there and get like a Back for Blood or an MLB The Show when they literally have Call of Duty, you know? And then, dude, Diablo on console, World of Warcraft on console, Overwatch. Like, this is insane. Now, mind you, this is all if it goes through and if it actually plays out like this. But, bro, that's insane. That's insane, man. What do you guys think about that? I mean, obviously I think the price will increase at some point. But here's the thing, man. Microsoft is $1 trillion corporation. Obviously they're not making money off Game Pass like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure it's doing something for them, but they're all about the metrics and all that other stuff. So, dude, I would not be surprised if they keep that like $15 for the longest time just to get people on board. But either way, me as a gamer, I don't care all about all this other business stuff. I don't care. For me, Game Pass is a really, really good value proposition. And that's who I'm looking out for at the end of the day. Me as the consumer. I know everybody wants to play business armchair analyst and say, well, is this sustainable? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, bro, they're giving you games for peanuts on the dollar. And you're complaining whether or not it's sustainable. Like, dude, just enjoy it. Just fucking enjoy it. Like, that was the weirdest thing to me. That was the weirdest thing where somebody, like, you remember when MLB The Show came out? And there was, like, some people saying, no thanks, I'd rather buy the game for $70. And it's like, bro, you could get it on Game Pass. You can play it as much as you want. And if you want to own the game, you get it cheaper on Game Pass. Like, people just 2 and 2 just ain't connecting. The audio ain't matching the video. You know what I'm saying? It's just, why wouldn't you want that? If I was a kid, I would love to have a service like Game Pass. My parents would have loved to have a service like Game Pass, because back in the day, back in the 90s, you know, my parents were paying like $80, $90 for some of these games. Y'all remember how much them N64 and SNES games used to be? Like, bro, shit was expensive. So for me, this is nothing but a win for Game Pass. Like, forget the metrics, forget what's good for business, blah, blah, blah. Just enjoy it. Play games. Have fun. Like, it's fine. It's fine. It is what it is. But yeah, let me go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and catch up on these super chats right quick. But I wanna look at the results from the poll real quick. So it's looking like, as far as the poll's concerned, 25 minutes ago, we have 341 votes. 77% of you guys would like to see breaking news live streams, and 23% would like to see edited videos. Okay, so it's overwhelming majority breaking news live streams. So you guys like this live approach. over just like the edited videos. But if anything, I think if the topic is interesting enough, I'll probably do some type of a standalone video where I can have some fun with it, and just to make it easily digestible for people who don't want to watch this hour and a half, wow, we've been going that long, hour and a half long stream. But let me go ahead and catch up on these super chats real quick. Oh wow, we got 552 people watching, we got 420 likes. Shout out to y'all. If you're enjoying the stream, make sure you hit that like button. Let's go ahead and answer some super chats right quick, and then we're gonna call it a night because your boy's voice is gone. I'm going ghost, man. Going ghost. Shout out to the Danny Phantom fans. All right. Let's see. So we got $4.99 coming in from Justin March. It doesn't say anything here, but I appreciate the support, brother. Thank you so much. $10 super chat coming in from Fried Melon. This woke me up this morning. Can Microsoft really handle 35 plus studios? Also, what happens to Alpha Dog when King joins Xbox Game Studios? The mobile studios don't really fit what Xbox is trying to go for. So here's the thing, and they spoke about this when they acquired Bethesda. They pretty much let Bethesda run autonomously, just business as usual. I feel like any one person being in charge of all the studios, there's no way that they can manage that. But if you have entities that can run business as usual and you just oversee everything to make sure it's all fine, then I feel like that's going to be a success in the long run. But we'll just have to see how all that stuff plays out. But it is a genuine concern to the whole situation. But as far as the mobile game studios and how it doesn't fit what they're going for, Xbox is trying to reach as many gamers as physically possible. And while we don't care about mobile gaming, it's huge. It's the biggest form of gaming out there. And when you factor in that Xbox is focusing a lot on cloud, just getting the expertise and the knowledge from someone like King and going ahead and trying to incorporate that to their own ecosystem, I feel that's what they're gunning for more than anything. But if anything, that's not going to be something that really affects us. Like, it's not like we're going to see like a Halo Candy Crush variant. I mean, we might see something with Halo in Candy Crush. I don't know. But I just think that long term, that's just them trying to tick some of the boxes that they're looking for. But yeah, like I said, all these things are very speculative. Like we'll have to see how it all, because it sounds good in theory. It sounds very good in theory, but you know, sounding good in theory is one thing versus actuality. Is that a term? I don't know if it's a term, but I just made it up if it's not. $5 coming in from Alfonso Carter. This is the first step in Microsoft's corporate takeover of Sony or put PlayStation out of business. That's what's happening. Oh, damn. I don't know if they do that, but I can definitely see them. I can definitely see them trying to negotiate Game Pass on PlayStation. You know what I'm saying? Because they have a lot of IPs now. They have a lot of IPs. Putting them out of business, I don't really think they care about that, because going back to what we were saying before, their competition is not necessarily PlayStation. It's everything else. It's Amazon. It's Google. It's Facebook. It's all those things. And we might not believe it because that just sounds like something they say, like, oh, of course you're not competing with the one person that's kicking your ass. But obviously now they spent $70 billion. Like, that's competing money. That's well beyond competing money. $10 from JD Gamer. People have short-term memory. People are talking about Microsoft buying their way in. That's what Sony did during the PS1 era. They didn't have a lot of studios, just more money than Nintendo and Sega at the time. That is true. That is true. They did go around buying some studios. But the thing about PlayStation is, though, that they cultivated a lot of those relationships too. So it's true, but at the same time, it isn't. Like, Xbox is just buying proven commodities versus PlayStation, who it's like, who was looking at Fire Sprite? You know what I'm saying? $5 from JD Gamer. They literally told Sega to give up. They didn't have enough money to compete with them. They manufactured hardware and would always be able to make it cheap. That was just smart business back in the day, man. They had that winning mindset when they came on stage and they were like $2.99. They did what they did, man. If you want to talk about people strong arming in the gaming industry, you got to talk about Nintendo. Oh, wow. Nintendo with those Yakuza practices, how they would strong arm retailers. I'm not making this shit up, guys. They would strong arm retailers saying, if you carry any one of our competitors' games, we will pull all of our Nintendo products from your store. They forced stores in the 80s and 90s to become Nintendo exclusive. Like, how crazy is that? That's insane. And then we got $10 from JD Gamer. For everyone saying they're buying excuse me. for everyone who's saying they're buying everything, whining. So you're saying, like, for the people who are whining about Microsoft buying everything, so what? Too bad, so sad. It's how the game is played and how the cookies crumbled. By the way, I want a Luna Silver Star story remake or Panzer Dragoon Saga remake. That's the game, man. That's the game. And Sony, they're going to respond in kind, whatever it may be. Whatever it may be. Whether they acquire something or whether they just keep doing business as usual. They're going to have to make a move. They're going to have to make a move, man. But that is business at the end of the day, man. You don't spend all this money to not have... dang. I just forgot. I didn't really speak on whether or not the... Man, this is why... I didn't really speak on whether or not the games would be, like, 100% exclusive. So I'll just touch on that real quick. I can see pre-existing entities, similar to, like, Minecraft and Elder Scrolls Online. I could see those staying multiplat. So games like Warzone and whatever game that's already running right now, I can see that being business as usual until they cease support. But going forward, I can see all of the new titles being Xbox PC cloud exclusive. I can definitely see that happening. But at the end of the day, it's not like they're taking games away from every audience out there. And for a lot of these situations, you guys got to remember, since everything is now going to be unified in this ecosystem, that means, Jesus Christ, the carbonation from the seltzer. That means you wouldn't have to worry about, is this Activision game going to come to PC? Because remember, there was a time where Call of Duty really wasn't on PC like that, and Call of Duty wasn't popping on PC until they got their shit together. So now you can see day and date PC releases on Steam for a lot of these games. That's huge. That's really huge. $5 coming in from Still Alive. I'm ready for a Crash Team Racing with rare characters. Imagine Banjo and Crash in the same game. Yo, first off, just imagine a new Banjo-Kazooie. Just imagine that. Like, please. I'm gonna need someone at Xbox to do something with Banjo-Kazooie. It's been too long. It's time. It is time, Phil. Phil, I know you're watching. Phil. It's time, bro. It's time. But yeah, if they could do a Crash Team Racing, and hypothetically speaking, they could do their own brawler of sorts. They could do their own Smash Bros. Clone. Because look, they got Master Chief, they got Banjo-Kazooie, they got Ori. We can get Soap McTavish from Call of Duty into this. Like, who else could they have in there? Oh my god. Obviously Crash is gonna be in there. They could bring in Tony Hawk. Put Tony Hawk in a Smash game. Oh my god, that would be amazing. But they got the brand, they got the IPs, y'all. Got the IPs. And then let's see. We have a $5 super chat from iBlueRJGR. As a brand, do you think this is the most threatened state PlayStation Sony's ever been in? Is there a genuine threat to the PS7 or so one day? Much love, Neo. Oh, appreciate that. Honestly, I feel like out of all the moves Microsoft has ever made, this is the one that's going to put pressure on Sony. More so than anything else. Because everything else is just, like I said, drop in the bucket. Oh, you bought Ninja Theory? Well, we got them when they were at their prime with Hellblade 1. Snooze. You bought Obsidian? Okay. You bought Bethesda? Man, we got our own exclusive games, man. We got Japan. But you bought Activision? Oh, shit. Niggas sweating now, bro. Definitely sweating, man. Definitely sweating. What the? This man's Soapbox is being horny in the chat. He said Sarah Bond could run me over with a car. Hey, yo, Soapbox, your girl know you said that comment? Hey, yo, wait a minute. Wait a minute, Soapbox. Wait a minute, bro. Wait a minute. I need you to relax. It's not Thirsty Thursday yet, man. It's only Tuesday. Oh, man. But $2 super chat from Fifth String. Sony is closer to mono and anime versus Microsoft with gaming, in my opinion. Oh, so he's talking about Sony has more of a monopoly in the anime world versus Microsoft does in gaming, which is true. Sony owns Crunchyroll and Funimation, two of the biggest entities in the anime industry. Like, if you want to go and stream anime, you're watching it on one of those two services. That's insane. That is absolutely insane. But yeah, I think we're about to wrap it up here for the night, you guys, on this impromptu stream talking about the Xbox AB acquisition. In closing and summary, for those who just got here, I still can't believe that this deal happened, and if it goes through, I'm going to be even more shocked. So that'll be really interesting. But yeah, I'm not going to sit here and be like fake excited, because you guys notice, like, I'm just like more stunned than anything else. Because I don't really play a lot of Activision games like that, but I can't sit here and deny the impact and the waves and the ripples. I got some Ruffles cheddar sour cream chips downstairs. Oof, I'm about to kill those. I can't sit here and deny how much of an impact this is going to have in the industry. And going forward, you know, obviously for the next year, we're just going to go back and forth with the same thing we do with Bethesda. Are these games going to be exclusive? What's going to happen next? Yada, yada, yada. It's just a lot to wrap your head around. But if there's one thing we've learned with certainty, it's that Xbox is definitely in it to win it. And whether that's taking down PlayStation or whether that's just making gaming into this monolith that can support 1 billion gamers, whatever it is, it's going to be interesting to watch. And at the very end of the day, nobody wins harder than us gamers. Just being able to get something like this added to the Game Pass ecosystem. I wouldn't be surprised if on day and date, when the acquisition goes through, most of Activision's back catalog, if possible, is put on Game Pass as like a celebration thing. Because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't they do that with Bethesda? I think they did. But yeah, you guys, I want to say, first off, thank you so much for everybody who tuned into this. We had north of 500 people, like 600 people watching the stream. Like, that's absolutely insane, you guys. I think the last time we hit those numbers was during I think when Cyberpunk drama happened, but we might have gone even higher than that. And I'm definitely taking y'all's feedback into account with this this live structure of sorts, because you guys really seem to enjoy it. And just based off the poll, it's just much more entertaining to you guys than just waiting for an individual video. Also, I have a question. Did this stream hit your guys' feed better than my individual videos do? Because that's one thing I've noticed. A lot of people said that whenever I do streams, it hits them faster than it does individual videos. So yeah, you guys let me know that down below. I want to give a huge shout out to all the mods in the chat. Thank you guys so much for your due diligence and everything that y'all are doing. Thank you so much to all the super chat supports too, man. I mean, you guys right then and there with all them super chats, we might that might be our little what is it like? What is it like? You know, when someone like they approximate your value, we can bring this over to Xbox and be like, okay, this is the starting price to acquire Ask Neo. We can just bring that over, man. Okay, so yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people are saying they're seeing the streams more than anything else. Okay, yeah, so that's just that YouTube. That's just that YouTube be on that bullshit, man. They be on that bullshit. But yeah, appreciate all the super chats. There's a bunch of new subscribers as well. Thank you guys so much for the support. And if you want to follow your boy, down below in the video description are all my social media outlets, from Twitter, Instagram, Discord community. I'm on Twitter the most, and if you guys want to get in contact with me, Twitter is the one outlet to go for. So yeah, definitely give your boy a follow on Twitter for all my spicy takes of sorts, and occasionally thirsting after Rihanna. It's either Rihanna or Ming-Na, one of the two. But yeah, you guys, have a great rest of your evening or morning or afternoon, wherever y'all at. Enjoy the rest of the week, and I will be back later on down the road for the Ask Neo stream. You guys know what it is. Saturday evenings, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which will probably be our last Saturday stream because my schedule is changing again. But yeah, you guys, thank you so much for your support. Continue to be kind and excellent to one another. And for me to you for now, my name is NGS signing out. Like always, I will catch you guys later. Peace out, y'all. Have a good one.